Hello and welcome to our Shenmue, the animation after show. I'm your host George, and with me, like always, is my equal Barry.
Hey, how's it going?
So this episode is, there's a lot of surprises in this episode, but a lot of the episode actually takes place like, that event that happened in the last episode? Well, this is like the team up that was happening in the background or whatever. So I guess that was a little interesting because you don't see that in the video game. Kind of, you don't see other people's point of view, and that's the best part about this anime is you get to see other people's point of views and other people doing heroic actions. What was your overall thoughts on this episode, especially since it's the last episode in here, since we're going to Hong Kong after this?
Yeah, it was a little bittersweet. I know we have a lot more to go with this anime, but it kind of feels like the conclusion in a sense, because this is the ending of the Shenmue anime, at least in terms of the first game. And now it makes me really reflect on that whole adaptation. And I'm seeing strengths, I'm seeing weaknesses. I think it went by too fast. Mm-hmm. I feel like some characters just did not get explored at all. Like Tom is pretty much like a cameo, if not like, there's characters who had more screen time than Tom, like the two big buff guys. They were more essential to the plot than Tom was, and it's kind of disappointing. But I'm sure we'll touch on all this. But overall, I liked it, but it definitely makes me reflect, on the series so far, and it's a mixed bag.
Yeah,
I will admit.
For me, it was the same thing as you. It just felt too fast, and it's funny because when we all heard the news of the anime coming out, I think we all had discussions on the Sega Bits Discord where we were like, "Is there enough story and characters here to make a whole anime of it?" And the way they kind of gave other characters more screen time and more of their own personality, which we'll talk about here because it's a lot of them are more apparent in this episode still. It really did make it seem like you could have stretched this out for a whole 12 episodes, just him in his own hometown and then leaving in the end.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the first plot point. So we make a lot of jokes in this after show about the Goro's piss, and all of a sudden it's literally the plot point that ties the whole rescue together in the end of Nozomi. Yeah. If it wasn't for Goro going out and taking a piss, Nozomi would be trapped in there and never be rescued. Ryu would be dead. I mean, didn't you see this coming? I mean, how do you know this, Barry, that your hero, Goro, would save the day?
I felt it. Goro, he speaks to me. He actually has spoken to us on Twitter. The English voice actor of Goro reacted to our show, saying he's glad that we're enjoying it. So if he's listening, hello. But
hey, bro,
didn't Goro get piss? Didn't he splash some piss on himself while he was peeing? He was like, It happens
to the best of us, Sometimes it's not always a successful operation. You know what I mean? It's poor Goro.
That's right. That's right.
We also got a team up in this episode that it was an unlikely team up. Goro, Mark, Mia, and the forklift. All four of them combined their powers of characterization and came in to rescue Nozomi while Ryu was taking a nap with his boy Chen in the harbor. So, this is the most heroic. Like, don't you wish the game had moments like these where Goro would just march in with a forklift and says, "Hey, bro."
Yeah, I really liked that. I think the strength of this whole anime has been that the secondary characters are a lot more proactive, so it makes me really excited to see how Joy and Ren act in when they get to Shenmue 2, just because they were pretty proactive as is, so I can imagine a lot of plot points are going to integrate them a little bit more, so I'm looking forward to that. But it was just really exciting to see those three characters come together. Honestly, it would have been perfect if Tom was there, but it makes sense that he wouldn't be because he doesn't really hang around there. But that was really exciting. I like that a lot.
And then we had the reimagined 50-man battle, which is, I guess, the epic climax of the original game. What do you think about this and the game? This kind of like, they had some cool action scenes where they were actually doing, you know, hand-to-hand combat, but they always do a lot of this, like, one punch takes out 100 characters off the screen kind of thing. Very, like, anime influenced. But besides that, I thought they did a cool little job here. I thought the game was a little more epic, but it's also, you're playing it. You're playing as the characters, so it's more epic in your point of view, you know? So it's hard to translate. But what do you think about this season?
Yeah. I agree. The game definitely was more epic. It makes sense, though, that you wouldn't want to prolong this. I mean, it's not like Kill Bill with the whole, you know, like 100-man battle or however many that was, where you really feel it and it lasts like 30 minutes. Like, at the very least, it did seem like they were overwhelmed. In the game, though, did Ryo just kind of, once he was there, Nozomi was just kind of rescued just because he beat everyone up, and that was it, right? There was no... So I like how they added that extra plot point. Otherwise, it would have just been Nozomi standing off to the side watching this, and then he would have been like, all right, let's go, you know?
Oh, yeah. And one of my favorite aspects of this is like the weird art they keep on showing for the Chiyumin. This has nothing to really do with the plot because we know that they're going to Hong Kong for Land D, but they do this weird sinister like when you get to Hong Kong they'll be waiting, and it's like a red, like crimson red sky with the shadows of them. I really love the way they like portray the Chiyumin and the Chinese mafia as this like really bigger threat in the anime. I don't think they did that well in the game. Like in the game, it's more like, you know, flat. I don't know. Some parts of it became flat.
Well, they just kind of show up.
Yeah, and it's like the guys in black.
They never teased these villains in Shenmue 1. You didn't even know who they were until you got to it, and they were kind of jokey, you know.
Even though we talked about them. But you can see them
here.
The fat one in the middle.
I see him there. Yeah,
I forget his name.
And then his partner to the right.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Are you think they're gonna make him trans in this anime?
I'm really interested to see that. I want to see who voices who in the English and Japanese dub. It's gonna add a new wrinkle to the story, which we are a part of.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, on the Wikipedia pages. Yeah. We had the. I guess this is an iconic scene in the game where Ryu rescues Nozomi on the bike, and this one is a little more reimagined and more somber in the way that like she knows this relationship's coming to an end because she heard him on the dock telling what's his name that he's going to Hong Kong to pursue the truth about his father. But in the other one, it felt more like it was a rescue, and it was this like romantic moment in the game. And this one, it seems more bittersweet, I guess. It is sort of like that, but she knows it's not gonna last, kind of a thing. So,
absolutely, yeah. It was. I think what I liked about it, it had a very Studio Ghibli kind of vibe. It just seemed like a quiet, sort of emotional scene that was just done through the characters like reacting, their facial movements, and Ryo's lack thereof. Like he was just kind of like looking at her. It just goes to show that it was really a one-sided relationship. Nozomi's probably better off without him. He was not at all invested in her, you know, as a romantic possibility. It was just like his friend, I guess. You know, I mean, it's not like he's unfeeling, but he definitely did not care for her the same way she did. It did make me hyper aware of how much this anime is missing a lot of the music from the game, if any of the music, like the whole, you know, the song "Don't Leave Me Alone." Remember that? Stay with me.
Yeah.
I kind of missed that, and I was like, man, a lot of the music in this anime is not reflecting what was in the game, outside of the Shenmue theme, really.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of the bad part. I mean, the game had one of the best soundtracks in Sega's history. I mean, everyone at Sega worked on it, so it's like this really, really high bar they set, and it's hard to have new people come in and try to beat some of the best that ever do it at Sega. So, yeah. Right,
but they don't even try to beat it in some cases. Like in this one, there wasn't really any music to my memory, or if there was, it just wasn't memorable. So
I agree.
You know.
I agree.
Yeah.
So finally, at this point, Ryu is leaving. So it kind of feels abrupt. It's like, oh, the first big gang fight. Now you're out. All right. And so now we have this like kind of like a little montage where we catch up where the characters are going to end up. We have Mia and Goro getting married. Your favorite character is already locked up. So any plans of you guys having a future relationship, bro, is done. He's a married man. No more bro time. So
he's going to have a baseball team worth of babies. I can't wait.
I hope if we ever come back in Shenmue or we do more phone calls, he's like, hey, bro, I got 5 babies already,
I hope they all have his face, too. They all look like this.
And they're all pissing on Piers.
The scrunchy face. Yeah, they all look grumpy and they have flat noses.
We got...
Yo, bro!
We got...
but he'd be like, this is Uncle Rio. And Rio's like, I've never met these kids. I don't even know you.
We got a Fuku-san and a Ini-san, I guess, goodbye. They kept on cementing the idea that he's leaving not for revenge, but for proving the innocence of his father, which is something that they changed in the anime because they didn't make it a secret that he was on a revenge mission. I kind of like the idea that he would lie to people to make them not worried and be like, I'm just here to investigate these lies that this guy said about my father. So I thought that was a cool take. I've said it in the other episodes. Fuku-san needed more episode time and being his...
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sad. He looks more manly here, though. They drew him more as a manly man.
Yeah, and I don't remember... I haven't seen the English one all that much, so I don't know what he sounds like in that. I wonder if he's less whiny. Because he was super whiny.
Oh,
in,
yeah.
He
was kind of like a joke character. Yeah, like the annoying little brother. That's kind of what they voiced him as. Then we have Nozomi in the game. There's like this iconic scene where you're in the harbor and she takes a picture with you, and it's a picture you carry with you throughout the games. That didn't happen in the anime. Instead, she gives you a charm, which is a change. I personally like the idea of the photographs. I like the whole photograph theme in the game. Like, every time he has a big memory or relationship, there's usually a picture or something to accompany that. I like that. It also gives it that 80s vibe, especially now that we're more of a digital era. But what do you think about this, I guess, departure?
It's fine. I mean, in the game, I think a lot of the fun comes with which one you pick and then your own reading of what that means. Because I know she's next to him in one and apart from him in the other. So it's like, do you show her you care by taking the one where you're together, or do you give her the one where you're together so she remembers you? And like, it's kind of a difficult...
Yeah, but I guess when they did the Xbox one, right, they used the together one, right? That's the official picture.
He took the together one, yeah. So, but in this case, I guess since it's not a game, removing that makes sense. It was fun, but I'm not too bothered. I'm interested though if the charm comes back, so we'll have to wait and see.
Oh yeah,
I think it's very possible that it plays a role. Yeah, exactly.
We have this part was funny. It made me laugh in the episode. Chen is like, "Hey, dude, take my son with you. Get him out of here." And then he's like, "All right, I'm going with you to Hong Kong. Us bros, we're gonna get so drunk and wasted. We're gonna do some crazy." And then all of a sudden, pipes fell right on him because Chai came to attack for the 100th time in the season.
Right.
And then obviously,
right.
And then the fight ends with Ryu just kicking him in the head and like throwing him in the ocean, which I thought was funny too. Like, he literally gave this guy brain damage.
I forgot about this part in the game, so I was actually kind of surprised. I'm like, oh, this is a big change from the anime. And then I saw the pipes and I'm like, right, of course.
Yeah.
And I always found that strange because it's like, was that a plan? Like, imagine how different the game would be. You would have like an NPC following you around, basically.
Yeah, that would have been kind of
interesting.
Cool.
And he could come back because if he, in Shenmue 4, like if he's got more than enough time to heal now, he could show up. That would be awesome to have Ren and what's his name?
Ren.
I just call him Chen's son.
Chen's son, yeah. Well, his last name is Chen. I forget his name. It's like a really long name. I forget.
That'd be interesting if he came back in Shenmue 4.
Yeah. And that was basically the ending, the last bit of the episode is the boat going to Hong Kong. So I have a couple questions. So like, we did the episode on Shenmue 2, and we know that there's a missing chapter on the boat. Do you think that would be something they're going to flesh out anytime? Or you think they're just going to skip it too?
I don't think the whole episode's going to be the boat, because they did release a clip and it shows Ryo having his bag stolen. But I would hope that at least a couple minutes is devoted to some time on the boat, so that we don't just kick off the next episode with the boat arriving at the harbor. Like, there's some content there. You don't need to tell the whole... I don't think we need to show Chai coming back.
No.
Because that would be a little overkill.
Fourth time? Is it?
Right. But at the very least, like, maybe a few character moments on the boat would be great. If he's talking to people who are going to Hong Kong, and like, oh, where are you? What's your reason for coming? Oh, I'm from Yokosuka too. You know, like something like that.
So just like every character is.
We'll see. Pretty much.
Since we went through the first games really quickly, is there anything or any scene or any location or any character that didn't actually get any screen time that you would have thought, man, I'm surprised they didn't do this part or this moment?
It's tough to say, because each playthrough is different, so there's certain characters who feel more important than they actually are. But for me, a complete lack of the kitten.
Yeah.
A complete lack of the forklift racing or any of the guys you work with. Like, that's really glossed over. It would have been a fun little, like, nod to the games if it was just like, and if you come early tomorrow, we're gonna race forklifts around,
Yeah.
Like, just something like that. And then a lot of the characters from around the town just never showing up kind of was annoying, because like my favorite guy is the arcade owner.
Yeah.
I think he's just goofy. He was just completely absent.
Yeah, I would agree. It's definitely. Anything else you wanted to add?
No, I'm looking forward to moving into Shenmue 2. It's a 12 episode series, right?
I think it's 13. But
oh boy. Wow.
The kitten you said, definitely one of the ones I missed the most. And the other one is the Drunken Santa, and the whole idea of it being Christmas. I thought it was pretty iconic in the first game that it was set in Christmas, and you get to see, you get to see like Christmas in a little town in Japan, which is kind of weird that they have a drunk Santa, because we have a drunk Santa in America. So it's like, what's up, guys? You guys are copying us now.
Right.
So it's not that much different than America, but I thought it's one of the most vivid memories, because I played it during Christmas time myself, so it's like Christmas in the game, Christmas in real life. The snow, nothing like that in the anime. So the atmosphere is definitely way better in the game, which is crazy. It says a lot about how good the atmosphere and that kind of stuff was in the game. So now we're going to start, after this, Shenmue 2, the anime, technically. And anything you want to add before I close it up?
I guess we're going to have, 8 episodes of Shenmue 2. So I'm very interested to see what's next. So, I want to hear in the comments before the next one, how many people think we're going to get boat stuff? I'd be interested to see what the thoughts are. And
if anything, you guys, any character that didn't make it from Shenmue 1 into the anime, I want to hear that too, because we named a lot of stuff, so maybe you guys have more. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys on the next video. Bye.